Here we are, guys. Yonkers Voice is always on the job. It doesn't matter what goes on outside. We feel that this is important, and when we feel that something is important, we are always there to make sure that you get the right information. Sammy Ravelo, right?
Yes, sir.
Sammy, thank you for taking the time. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. It's a critical time,
Yes.
but life must go on, and
Yes.
procedures and processes and things that we normally have to do must be done.
Yes.
Sammy, you're running.
Yes.
This is your first time running,
Yes. Yes, it is.
and why?
Well, we feel that after so many years of having the same congressman in office, it is time for new voices in Congress. This is a majority-minority district as it's composed right now, and we feel that our voices need to start being heard. And as a former police officer, immigrant, a veteran, I feel that those people haven't had the voice that they deserve for the last at least 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
So, in other words, what you actually are telling me, it's time for a change.
Correct.
Time for a
Correct.
change.
Correct.
Now, when we change things, Sammy, at least I analyze the situation, and I think, okay, this needs to be changed, or this needs to be changed. But there is a reason why this and that needs to be changed. What is it that you do differently, or what is it that you would change in specifically?
Well, just the fact of our election would be a major change in the district, and I'd be remiss. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that we hold everybody in our prayers during this pandemic. So I just wanted to throw that out there. It was the first thing that I wanted to say. So what kind of things would I do different? I would first of all do a town hall a month here in the district. I would come and try to go to the places that are most needed, and try to listen to their concerns. I would not just use the different groups that we have within the party to be my proxies. That's number one. And number two, I would like to implement a know your congressman, meaning I would have a congressman on wheels, and have a truck where they can park, and any places like the Edenwall houses have a permanent satellite there. So those are two different things that I would like to do different, that I know for a fact are not being done right now.
Now, you are a retired police officer.
Yes.
So you were on the street, and you were in contact with the people on the street.
Yes.
Not just a selected few, the top 1%, but you were in contact with the general population.
That is correct.
What was the biggest concerns? As you ask questions, as you got to meet the people, I'm sure that you talk about many things.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Not just police matters.
Yes.
Okay. What was the biggest concern that the general public had that you will do different in order to satisfy them?
Yes. That's a great question, Ru. Education is the number one concern in the people in the places that I work and in the district as I go around. Safety, obviously, as a police officer, people like the fact that they want to feel safe. So education and safety go hand in hand. Those were the two of the issues that we always encounter, especially as a police officer. Regardless of the criminal justice system, that we need to make sure it's fair, especially to poor communities and communities of color. But at the same time, people want to know that they are safe and the police officers are doing the right thing and keeping them safe.
Now, just before we go further,
Yes.
I need to make a quick disclaimer, if you don't,
Yes,
if
yes,
you
sir.
don't mind.
Yes,
Guys, some of you sometimes criticize me and call me disrespectful to our guests because I'm texting as I'm interviewing. Well, guys, the reason I'm texting is because this is a live feed. This is live. So people are asking me questions through the live stream.
Yes.
So I'm reading the questions so I can ask the guest those questions. So don't jump into conclusions. I always tell people,
Yeah.
because they're quick to jump, Sam.
Yeah.
They're quick to jump.
Well, I don't feel disrespected, Ruth, so I appreciate the fact that you're having me here. So thank you very much.
So, going back to the people on the street.
Yes.
You were a police officer.
Yes.
Some people don't like police officers very much.
Yes.
Okay. You was a congressman. Okay. Maybe you don't have a direct impact on how people feel, but you will have a direct impact if you understand how people feel.
Yes. Yes.
Do you think we have a just judicial system? Do you think that police officers, where you work, or where you used to work,
Yes.
or around the entire New York,
Yes.
you think they are just and fair to everyone in the community, or there is a group that they are favorable to?
Yes. Okay. That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked it, because very few times do I get asked, hey, the fact that you're a police officer, you're going to be fair. 99% of the people in this district love the police, whether they're in a poor community or whether they're in Scarsdale, where they're the affluent, live there. People want to make sure they're safe. Now, as far as the criminal justice system itself, which, by the way, our current congressman, he voted for the crime bill. There are problems with the criminal justice, and we know, and me personally, I know as a fact that there are problems with with the criminal justice system that's skewed against poor communities and communities of color. All right. What we need to do is those areas where we see that could be improved, we can improve it. But at the same time, we cannot turn our backs on the police officers. We need, as a community, we need to support our police. I'm going to tell you why. Because when crime goes up, it starts going up in poor communities. And the victims, we got to start thinking about them. The victims often are poor people that are poor, or people that are minorities. And we have to start thinking about them. If there is something wrong, like me personally, I don't like the bail reform. One of the things that...
Let's not go there, because that's part
that's
of
part,
my
that's, that's part of,
yes.
Okay, so, but anyways, what I want to say to people is this. People want to make sure that they are safe. They want coming out of the house that they're not getting robbed. They want to come to the house, there's no rapists walking around. They don't want none of these things. But at the same time, they want to make sure that there is fairness when it comes to policing. And I know for a fact that the NYPD has gone a long way. I've spoken with the commissioner in Yonkers. He is dedicated to making a better and fairer police department, and I know that we're going in the right direction. We just want to make sure that when crime goes up, it doesn't affect our communities.
Well, the current police commissioner, Mr. John Mueller.
Yes.
He has something that he always refers to proudly.
Yes.
Precise policing.
Correct.
Okay. But we're not going to go into that, because this interview is not about Yonkers or about the police commissioner.
Right.
But let's stay still on the bail reform.
Bail reform.
There is no one that thinks that we did not need an overhaul on the bail system.
Yes.
We do.
Yes.
We did.
Yes.
But it's causing a problem, Sam.
Yes.
Okay, it's causing a problem.
Yes.
I don't know if the bail reform was not thought truly about the impact of it or how it was going to be implemented.
Right.
But it's causing a serious problem.
Yes.
Offenders are becoming reoffenders, and reoffenders,
Right.
they get arrested in 2 hours, they out to reoffend again.
Right.
And now with the discovery law, it's making things even worse.
Right.
What do you think went wrong? Or what would be your position if you were the congressman?
Okay, well, my position, I don't know where to start, because the bill was introduced on a budget bill. It wasn't discussed, and that's wrong from the start. You
Was
passed
part of another bill.
part of another bill. It wasn't a regular order bill. They didn't have police officers. They didn't have district attorneys in the room discussing the bill. All right, and when you sneak bills like this that has an impact greatly on communities, you're gonna have a problem. You're right. And believe me when I tell you, I'm the first one to say we needed reform. We needed bail reform, especially the communities that I belong to. I'm an Afro-Latino man, and those were the communities that were most impacted. But we could have done it another way, because when reoffenders, they get out and start reoffending, who are the victims? And nobody's thinking about them. The victims are often people that are poor and people of color. So we got to start thinking about the victims as well.
But you know, Sammy, before the bail reform, we had a different type of victim. If a poor man stole or committed a minor crime,
Right.
very minor crime,
Right.
okay, he would be arrested. And if he did not have $50 or $100 to put up bail for, he would stay in until trial.
Right.
In the meantime, if a rich person killed somebody,
Right.
and the bail was $1 million, he would have the $1 million to put up, and he would be out on the same day or the next day.
The next day.
So
Right.
back then we had a different type of victim.
Right.
Now, we spoke with the Senator Shelley Meyer, and she said bail reform is here to stay. It's not going to go anywhere, but maybe some tweaks need to be done. Why didn't they think about the tweaks before putting it out?
Right. Because, Shelley Mayer, she is my mayor here in New York. I just disagree with her. You know, when you say tweaks.
She's your senator.
I'm sorry, she's my senator. When you tweaks is another way of saying, hey, listen, we screwed up.
We messed up.
We messed up, and now we need to fix this. That's what tweaks mean. All right, and they own it. You know, like I said, I got no problem, and we're the same party. All right, but I just totally disagree with her, and she knows this. And my whole thing is that when are you going to do this? When somebody gets hurt badly because you pretty much tied judges' hands, and I totally agree with you. You know, a small crime, and then now you spent months in jail, waiting. I agree, but you did it with career criminals as well. So what's happening is you're having career criminals commit and recommit crimes, and you're tying the judge's hands behind their back, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, judges don't have much discretion.
Right.
As things are right now.
Yes.
Maybe things will be changed with the
Right.
tweak. I don't know.
Yeah, well, they call it a tweak. Right?
Yeah, they're going to tweet it.
They're going to tweak.
Now, education, Sammy.
Yes.
Especially in our area,
Mhm.
in Yonkers,
Mhm.
there is an issue with education, how money is dispersed, how Yonkers gets funds for education. What's your position on that?
Well, I believe, and this is my position, education is my number one issue on my platform, because everything starts with education. A population that has the proper education, you're going to see results. You're going to see different results. You're going to see outcomes are going to be different. You're going to have more jobs in that population. You're going to have less crime in that population. So we need to start thinking about a 21st century education, because we need to prepare our kids for the 21st century type of jobs. So to answer your question is, I believe that we should overhaul completely our education system. Kindergarten to 6th grade, I don't believe there should be no type of testing. There should be more of a development type, and then we can start gradually testing our kids, after the 8th grade. So I'm hoping that everybody, and I'm going to use this time to plug this in, everybody participates in the census. Make sure that you get counted.
We were going to get
We're going to get that. We're going to get to that, because that's where we get more
Yes.
education money. But
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Now, I have a question here for Mr. Hector Santiago. Regardless if you win or lose,
Yes.
okay, regardless,
Yes.
tell us some of the things that you would like to see different. Of course, if you win, you're going to work towards it, towards that difference. But if you don't, what would be the things that you think should be different than what it is currently?
Yes, great question, Hector. If it's the same Hector Santiago, I want to say hi to him. Good man.
I don't want to say hi to him. No hi to you, and you know why.
Well, Hector, I would like to, when it comes to Congress, and I don't know specifically if he meant what the congressperson would do, I would like our congressperson to be out there. Then I'm hoping that would be me, would be out there more in the places and locations where often people don't believe that their congresspeople are coming to, which are the poor communities, the poor areas of the district. The areas where the district, just because you don't have any donors or corporate donors, you don't show up. That's one thing that I'm going to change. Now, as far as in general, let's say if I lose, I am going to work more on helping the immigrant community, which I have. I used to volunteer in the United Community Center of Westchester before I started my campaign run, helping immigrants, and I would like to help them more. And I'm going to take you up on the offer, or hope you take me up on the offer. I'd like to partner up with you and start helping our kids, have a better relationship with the police. So that's one thing that I'm very passionate about, and I'm going to start working towards that as well.
What, you mean you're going to work with Hector?
I would love to if he would have me, but I have a couple of things in mind where I believe that he's on the right path, and we have to start getting our communities to have a better relationship with the police. Not that we have a bad one, but it could be better. And I'm hoping to be the face of that, only because of the story that I've had, coming where I came from to where I am now.
Well, Hector is a great young man.
Yes.
Bright ideas. He actually started the Stop and Shake.
Stop and Shake, yes.
And very intertwined with the community.
Yes.
He knows everybody. But my suggestion, if you work with Hector, just get him a new phone, because his phone's battery don't work sometimes. I try to reach him and he tells me my battery died. So make sure that he gets a new phone.
Okay.
But taking that out, he's a great guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Very bright. He cares about the community.
Yes.
And he helps the community in more ways.
And you can feel it.
Yeah. In
so
more
I
ways,
like that.
In more ways than many people realize.
Yes.
Census. The importance of census. No, we ask for we should get more money for the education. We should do this. We should.
Yes.
But they forget that everything happens because of something.
Right.
Money is given to communities based on the amount of population in that community.
Yes.
And how do they know how many people live in that community? Through
the census.
Through the
Correct.
census. So make sure that you fill up that form. I have received mine. It's done. I hope you have received yours, and we hope that it's done. And if it's not done, there is no better day than today.
Yes.
To fill it out.
Yes. I'm just gonna say this. Obviously, I filled out my census. It is very important that you fill out the census. We were talking about education. We were talking about roads and the roads and bridges. That's money that comes to the district, and it puts people to work, and obviously educate our kids. I don't know. Can I say it in Spanish real quick?
Yes, of course, because we have a large population.
Yes.
And those are the ones that.
Estamos hablando del census. Por favor, participen en el census. No importa si no es ciudadano, puede ser una persona que no está aquí que está aquí indocumentada. Participen en el census, porque eso trae dinero al distrito en educación, y para las calles y los puentes es muy importante que nosotros recibamos ese dinero. Thank you.
Now, Sammy Ravelo, for those that don't know, his parents are Dominican. You were born there?
I was born in the Dominican Republic.
So, a Dominican, how would you say it? De tradición, de nacencia.
De nacimiento.
Born in Santo Domingo.
Yes.
So understands our problems, the
Yes.
immigrants.
Yes.
And nothing like talk to somebody who understands your problem. I'm sure that the other ones also understand, but one thing is learning from a book, understanding it from external sources. Another thing is living those problems.
Yes.
So what do you have to say to our, Latino community? I know you told about the census, but diles en español la importancia de tener alguien que entiende nuestra lengua para ayudarnos con nuestros problemas.
Bueno, sí, gracias, Ru. Es importante para mí que cuando uno ha vivido lo que yo he vivido, yo cuando llegué aquí, llegué y viví en el Bronx, en la parte no tan buena como decimos en el Bronx. He visto muchas cosas. Una cosa que yo vine aquí a los 16 años, yo viví aquí 2 años indocumentado y entiendo lo que nuestra gente pasa cuando no tiene sus documentos y tiene que estar en las sombras. So, es algo que yo siempre lo he pensado y quiero pasarlo y ayudar a las demás personas.
Now, Sammy, we are in a crisis
Yes.
in America. Yesterday, I went to New York City just to film me and my friend Alberto Velasquez. We went there, and New York City was sad. Okay, I had never seen it like this, except 2 or 3 occasions, 9/11 and the huge blackout. But the circumstances were different. 9/11, it was in one place.
I know.
It happened, but within a day or two, we knew that it was contained. Now we have a silence killer that we don't know in which neighborhood it might hit.
Right.
Some folks are saying, "Hey, take care," and you too, because we're less than 6
Right.
6 feet away. That's social distance, guys. But I have to do my job. I have to. My love for the job sometimes is a little bit bigger than my love for myself. So I'm doing this for you guys, because the election is going to go on. We have to make a decision. People that care about the situation need to put out their message, so you make the right vote and the right decision.
Yeah.
But there is a crisis,
Yes.
and there is a crisis. But there is something that this crisis has taught me, Sammy. You might don't know what it is, but I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
This crisis has taught me that the power of your bank account is extremely important. Coronavirus has shown us that if you have money, you will be taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The general public out there in the Bronx, in New York City, did not have a chance to do this test and check if they're okay, if they're not okay. But all the basketball players, football players, people in White House, people with money already had that
Yes.
opportunity.
Yes. Yes.
Do we have a price tag in our system?
Yes, of course, and that's one of the other reasons. Because one of the check the box reasons why I am running. You know, you have the haves and you have the have-nots. If you don't have any money, you know, everything comes to you last. And I always said it since the beginning of my campaign. When there is a recovery, the last people to benefit are the poor, are the people of color, are the poor communities. When we have an economy that goes down the drain, the first people to suffer, you know, are the people of color and the poor community. So we have the worst of the worst every single time. So you know, you hit it around on the nose, Ru. We have a problem in the system, and I would like for this to be fixed, and that's one of the second things in my agenda. This crisis is going to hurt most of the people. How is it going to look like a year from now, you know, when we don't get those jobs back, you know? So I'm hoping that Washington, Congress, our congressmen start addressing this. Not a 1 or 2 month thing. It should be a year-long recovery plan for our communities.
And maybe we learned a very important lesson in this pandemic, that we should not dismantle the groups that address major issues in crisis. A year and a half ago, the pandemic
Yes.
group was dismantled.
Yes. Yes.
We took a long time to address the issue. We should take things seriously. Some people are saying, well, you should not politicize this. I think they're right. But who politicized it first? This is a democratic hoax. Didn't turn out to be that way,
Right.
did it?
Right. Yes. You know, you said something very important. You said that we haven't seen a problem like this in our lifetime in the United States, but this problem is worldwide. I mean, the whole world is
Correct.
feeling this, and now the United States and New York.
Epicenter. Huh?
It's the epicenter. I just want to make one comment before we spoke about this. We had an issue. We weren't sure if we were going to have this interview today. We decided that it is important because these other issues that need to be spoken about, especially we have a huge community now that are at home that can't leave. And I'm hoping people stay at home and abide by that. And you mentioned also 9/11. I actually was there 9/11. I survived both buildings. The first one didn't hit us. We went back to the second one, make sure that we try to save as many people as we can. The second one, we're lucky enough that we survived that one too. And although that crisis still lags, because I want to make sure we haven't still beaten the results of 9/11. There are people still dying
Yes.
because of the results of 9/11. This is different. This is going to hit everybody that doesn't matter. It's not gonna forgive you if you are black, white, Latino,
Or regardless of your bank account.
yes, or regardless of your bank account. So we have to make sure that this is serious. And I'm going to tell to my young folks out there, please, you may get the virus and you may recover because you're young, your immune system is very strong, but you may carry it and give it to your grandparents, and that may be deadly for them. So just make sure that you're taking care of yourself.
And on that note, let me tell the guys as well, this shutdown in the sense of recommendations to stay at home, stay far away, about 6 feet, something that we're not doing now, but you know why. But the things that people should not do and they are doing, remember that this crisis is not a vacation to stay home. It's not like, okay, now you have time to go to the beach and socialize. Like Sammy said, you might not show the signs or the symptoms, but your grandfather or your elderly parents might show the signs. And
Absolutely.
they might not be able to recover as well as you will recover. Or maybe you will not even feel it. They will.
Yes.
So take care of yourself, guys.
Yes.
Now, in closure, I want to know, what do you think? Or what, in your view, Sammy, give us an example of something that the current congressman is doing that you would do totally different. Anything comes to your mind?
Well, a bunch of stuff come to mind.
Yeah, an important one.
But an important one is I would start going to the poor communities, the communities that do not know who he is, and let me tell you, just full disclosure, I think Congressman Eddie Lango, I get along with him. I just think he's been there a long time, and it's time for change. But there are a lot of people in our communities, especially the poor communities, our poor young kids, Latinos and African Americans that don't know you. That's one thing that I would definitely 100% change that he is not doing that I would do.
So in another way, Sammy, you will be a congressman that is easily approachable.
Yes, accessible and approachable, 100%.
On that note, we come to the conclusion, unless Mr. Sammy has the last few words to say to the community.
All right, politics aside, please, census, fill out the census. Very important. Por favor, llenen el census, que es importante para todos.
Guys, as always, Yonkers Voice does not endorse or oppose any candidate. Our platform is open to anyone that is running for an elected position, regardless if they are Democrats or Republicans. Our interest, it's only one, to inform you so you can make an informed decision on who deserves your vote. At the end of the day, you are the judge, you pass the decision, and remember, elections have consequences. Until next time.
Thank you.